What's some shit that you would fight with Pac over?
We got into an argument. We was going somewhere, and everybody was hungry. And everybody was like, man, let's just stop and get the first thing we see. So everybody stopped and got KFC. We went and got KFC. Now, I like chicken, you know what I'm saying, but I really just like wings. I don't like, breasts and legs and all of that shit. And they came back, and the whole shit was just like breasts and thighs and, legs and shit. So I was like, I'm cool, you know what I mean? And he was tight, like, motherfucker, you eat other pieces of the chicken?
Word.
Stop fronting, nigga.
Word.
Go and get you a piece of chicken. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want none. I just like wings. Oh, now you just like wings and shit. It's your boy Edi Mean, a.k.a. Edi Don, a.k.a. The Hope Deal, and you watching Thisis50.com.
So let's jump right on into it. Edi Mean. Who is Edi Mean?
Edi Mean is a father, a brother, a friend, an artist. You know what I mean? The list goes on and on, man. I try to add a lot of comments to what I do, and soon everybody gonna see that.
Now, one thing, whenever people talk about Tupac, they always bring up the Outlaws. Always bring up the Outlaws. And one of the latest things that that people said about the Outlaws is that y'all smoked Tupac ashes. Now, what kind of truth is in that, right?
I mean, listen, I'm gonna break down the whole science of it, because I think when Vlad put it out before, it kind of got put out in a way where it didn't make any sense. People just was like, oh man, they smoked their ashes. Some people was like, man, that's some sick shit. And then other people was like, yo, that's hella cool. I'd have did that for my homeboy too. So the idea and the ideology behind that comes from Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? You have some Native Americans that actually smoke their loved ones when they pass away in a peace pipe or whatever, and it's a way of always being connected to them and with them. And back in high school, Tupac had a friend who was Native American who told him about this. So I guess it must have stuck with Pac over the years, because he would bring it up every now and then. And he actually put it in a song called Black Jesus that was on the Still I Rise album. And he said, last wishes, nigga, smoke my ashes. You know what I'm saying? So at the time when Pac passed, we all got together and we smoked what we thought was his ashes. You know what I mean? Years later, we found out that they wasn't really his ashes. But at the time, we felt like we was, and we would have did that for him because he would have did that for us. You feel me? So that's what it is.
Now, when you were smoking it, was you like, yo, I am smoking a nigga?
Not really, because I was in so much pain, you know what I'm saying? I had just lost my homeboy, that was somebody I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, from knee high. Our parents knew each other before we was on the earth, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't even thinking about it, you know what I mean? It was just, it was much more, it was, yeah, exactly. Emotional, very emotional.
Man, how does the Outlaws get together? What is the origin of the Outlaws? And who consists of the Outlaws?
Well, the Outlaws is a collective of brothers. The nucleus of the Outlaws started with Tupac Shakur, his cousin Castro, his god brother Gaddafi, and myself. Pac, of course, was the first one to make it into this industry. At the time when we was kids, it was me and him rapping, and we eventually got Castro involved, and Gaddafi, kind of forced Gaddafi into it, because both Castro and Gaddafi wasn't really rappers by nature. They didn't really want to rap. Me and Pac had the rap dreams, you know what I'm saying? And through that connection with Gaddafi, because Gaddafi lived predominantly in Jersey, Gaddafi was able to bring in Hussein Fatal, Napoleon, and Young Noble. And that's the Outlaws right there.
So let me ask you this now, how did Tupac die? Who killed Tupac?
I mean, that hasn't been solved publicly, but the streets know and those involved know. And unfortunately, I'm not here to do the police's job, so I'm not gonna say what happened on camera, but I know, and his people know, and the people that loved him know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let the cops do their job, and and continue pushing how I push, because at this point it really doesn't matter who, you know what I'm saying, or why. It just is what it is, and unfortunately he's not here no more, and that's really the main thing. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is just for other people to be concerned about, honestly. You know what I mean? From day one, I was never really concerned about who. You know what I mean? I was concerned that, damn, you know what I mean? They took one of the greatest, you know what I'm saying? That was a gift right there. You know, he needed more years to really do what he did, but thankfully through his music and the work he put in, he still impacts the world. So, you know what I mean? It wasn't all in vain.
Now, you was on one of the greatest disc records of all time, to hit him up and whatnot, man. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, that was fun, man. That
And
was
do you agree
hip
it's the
hop.
greatest disc record of all time?
It's one of them, you know what I'm saying? It's one of them. It's all perspective, you know what I'm saying? And it's all a matter of opinion, you know what I'm saying? I let the other people say that, but, you know, it was fun to be a part of it. It came from a purely hip-hop perspective. You know, at the time, we was trying to outdo The Bridge Is Over. You know what I'm saying? Because we felt like The Bridge Is Over was one of the hardest disc records ever. You know what I'm saying? By the great KRS-One and Top No Vaseline from Ice Cube. You know, another one of the greatest disc records of all time. So, you know, it's crazy when we go do shows, the fans won't let us leave without doing some of it. You know, a lot of people really love that song. You know, R.I.P. to the greats. You know what I mean? But when we did it, it was inspired by hip hop and just doing what hip hop is, you know, so unique for. When you can get on a record and say, yo, I don't like that motherfucker and I think he whack, and I'm gonna do a record about it. This is the only genre of music you can do that in.
Yeah, but it was super fire dangerous though.
Yeah, it was.
Back in the day when y'all was doing it. At any point when, you know, even at the opening when he said, nigga, that's why you fat motherfucker, I fucked your bitch. What you was like, yo, Pop, man, I think that was a little bit too much right there, man. Come on, yo, can we pull back a little bit? Can we keep it hip hop?
I mean, if it's the truth, why have a problem with it? You know what I'm saying? Only the victims got a problem with the truth. Only those that's not living in truth have a problem with it. But if it's the truth, why have a problem with it?